Call the meeting to order. I acknowledge that we're privileged to gather on the traditional territory of the Kwakwa speaking people. Are there any additions or amendments to the agenda?
I'll have a few comments about the tourism advisory committee under council reports.
Okay. So can I have a motion to accept the agenda as amended? Okay, seconder, all in favor? Opposed, carried. Okay, yeah. Trying to see everybody. Adoption of the minutes, August 7th, 2020, committee of the whole meeting. Are there any? Second, okay. Any corrections to be made? Seeing none, all those in favor of receipt? Or I mean, sorry, accept the minutes. That's what I'm trying to say. Opposed? Carried. Minutes of August 11th, 2020. Moved? Seconded? Okay. And all those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay. And adoption of the minutes, August 11th, 2020, regular council meeting. Moved? Seconded? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Great. Just get to the right page here. Okay. Item 5A, letter from the Ministry of Forest Lands, Natural Resources, Flynn regarding the timber supply review. So just wanted to let council know that I did download the copy. I had attempted to read it several times. And so I reached out to Murray Estlin, and he was in the field today. So I thought it would be a good idea if council is amicable to meet with him so that he can explain the significance of it and what some of the recommendations might be to our region. So how does council feel about that? All right. So
as a delegate at a council meeting?
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, or we can have a committee of the whole meeting. We'll see what his schedule is like, and we can do one or the other. And then, so we could have a motion to table this for the next agenda, and then decide what we're going to do from there after meeting with them. Okay. Move to table them. Okay. Seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay. Item 5B, letter from the office of Councillor Stephanie McGowan of the town of Comox regarding National Pharmacare call to action. It's your pleasure, council.
Move, receive, and file.
Okay. Seconder. Any discussion on that? Seeing none. All those in favor of receipt? Receive and file. Opposed? Carried. Okay. Item 7A, Public Works Report for July 2020. Move for information?
Yes.
Okay, seconder. Yeah. Any questions regarding the report?
A comment, okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
I noticed they're using the sanitary scope.
Good.
Russell going that expensive.
Yeah. True.
Somewhere else.
Always makes us happy to see the equipment bought and used.
And I did have a chat with Julian, and the harbor tender will be going out this week. Just as a final note of information. And also for the we had some questions regarding the RFP for the pool. We're still waiting to hear from Rocky Point on that. Okay. All right.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead, Ryan.
I was under the impression that before the tender went out, we would get the chance to weigh in on some of the details of what we're asking to have done. What's happening there
Sorry, which tender are you talking about?
for the marina?
I was under the understanding we had a motion, and we had already directed staff where we had wanted to go.
My understanding as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a while ago now, though.
We haven't discussed anything about the additional funds that we allocated. All we discussed was replacing the main float and the related work to the approach. But we allocated $600,000, which is significantly more than is required for those two jobs. And we were going to discuss that. I asked that very specifically in a previous meeting. And so when we get to weigh in on what gets done at the marina, because we're allocating way more money than what's required for what staff was asked, what they asked for. And yet we're just allocating and putting a tender out and not even looking at it, see what we're asking to have done. Does anybody know? Could somebody tell me?
If I may, I believe, Ryan, there was options A, B, C presented to us. We chose the 60-foot ramp, whether it was A, B, or C. I don't remember at the time. And then I would expect the next time we would deal with it, we would look at the proposals that would come in, and then the money. I know where you're going, that there's a set price ahead of our contract, I think has always been a concern of yours.
Well, there's that, plus the fact that we allocated $600,000 to a project that was going to cost about half of that, or a little bit more, maybe 400. And so we were going to be doing a little more work, perhaps, than staff had been looking at. We were to bring the marina up to snuff. And some of the things that I brought up that were perhaps going to be discussed were things like putting in a float for people to fish off of. And is that in the plan? And the other thing was maybe putting in a kayak float. I brought that up. So, hey, when are we going to talk about that? I haven't seen any recommendations from the Harbor Advisory Committee about what they're recommending that we do. We know there's some things there that want to be done. Fish cleaning stations, for example, need to be brought up into a current status. They're not really satisfactory where they are. There's a number of things that I was expecting to council to have at least a look at before we put it out to tenders, because one of the specifications of one of the tenders, he had really nothing to do with it.
Councillor Downey?
I hear what you're saying there, but fishing floats, kayak docks, those, we were focused on the actual structural integrity of our harbor front, which would be that entryway, the little covered area, the ramp, and the dock C, A, B, or C, pick one of those docks, the one that is in dire need of repairs. That was our focus. We weren't looking at putting add-ons at this time. Our focus was about maintaining the integrity and warding off any risk.
So we put up a $600,000 amount of money, which is significantly more than that job was going to require, and we don't have a plan for what we want, so they're just going to bid to that $600,000 number.
You know what? We have budgeted money for our harbor. We have not said what we're spending. The quotes that come in will determine that.
So,
I don't agree with the process at all. I think we need to tell people what we want and see what they're going to bring us. But if we don't tell them what we want, then how are we going to get what we want?
so what we'll do is I'll look at, I'll have our CAO, Pete, bring up the motion, not today, that's fine, but we will pull that up and distribute that to council, what was made. I'm not remembering it quite the same way. Ryan, I do remember you making your comments regarding the kayak and also a fish dock for the kids. But I don't remember getting council consensus that was to be added to the project. So we'll have Pete look that up.
Well, if I may say, I was clearly told at the time that this was not the time to bring that up. And now it's gone to tender and that hasn't been brought up. I'm just going to leave it there, but I'm not happy with the extra money we threw at this project, and we're not having any say in where it's going.
Well, we'll also confirm the price because I don't remember 600, but we'll take a look at that. We'll confirm that. For some reason, I'm thinking 450,000, but I'll we'll get that information out to council, okay? Your concerns have been noted. Thank you. Okay, so moving on to 7B for information, Harbor and Information Center report.
At the end of the summer, is it possible to actually get this with a 2019 comparison? I think it would be great. Every report is kind of a running, but
So motion then to direct staff to have a comparison, 2019 comparison for the next meeting, please.
That's for this information, yeah.
yeah, just the back,
The stats.
not the vessels.
And I'll note that the trails are right up there. More people look at trails than the ferries.
Can I make a motion that this report be forwarded to the Tourism Advisory Committee as well on a regular basis?
Certainly. Yeah. So we have one motion first on the floor to have a comparison for 2020, 2019. Seconder for that motion?
That's the visitor
I
information
will.
center.
Yes.
All those in favor? Oh, sorry, right, you're writing it out. My
It actually uses Visitors Services Network statistics.
So Harbor Information Center report for July 2020.
BIC stats include 2019 comps, comparables with 2019. Yeah. Really, for 2021, what I'd like to see is just take up the whole page and have 2021, 2020, 2019, possibly even 2018 for the current month. If it's just a spreadsheet, it should, if you just progress,
Yeah,
right?
trends.
Yeah, and then you would see what's happening.
That's easy.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great.
So are you comfortable with that motion? Yeah. Okay, and we've had a seconder already, so any further discussion on it? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. And there, Councillor Downey, you also had a motion
I
to?
would motion that the Harbor and Information Center report be forwarded to the Tourism Advisory Committee on a monthly basis.
For information.
For information.
Okay, seconder for that motion?
I'll do that.
Yeah. Any further discussion on it? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, thanks. On bylaws, under old business, we have request for, or actually we have a draft letter of support for the regional district's interim solid waste management plan. So I'm looking for a motion that the town of Port McNeill support draft interim solid waste management plan as presented by the regional district of Mount Wellington at the July 28th, 2020 meeting of council.
I would love to make that motion.
Okay.
Thanks, these meetings. Good
And-
process.
Any further discussion on that? You can just copy and paste that. I've basically taken the conclusion out of your, sorry, not yours, out of your report.
Close to it to Laura.
Yeah,
Support
here, hang on a second.
the draft interim solid waste management plan as presented by the RD at the July 28th, 2020 regular council meeting.
Okay, we've got a mover and a seconder. Any further discussion on that? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay. Next is a, item 9B, museum grant application. So this was brought to us at the last meeting, and some research was done into the grant, and the conclusion was that we would qualify for $5,000 as part of this Restart program. And so I'd be looking for a motion for council to direct staff to submit an application to the Canadian Heritage Services Museum Assistance / COVID Emergency Fund.
As spoken.
Seconder, Craig? Okay, to submit an application to the Canadian Heritage Services Museum Assistance / COVID Emergency Fund. Any further discussion on that? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, 10A. It's my report. I don't have anything to say. I submitted it. I assume you read it. I'll answer any questions if you like. Otherwise, move to receive. Seconder. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, 10B. Shelley. Councillor Downey, sorry.
For information to council, the Tourism Advisory Committee did cancel the contract with TBI and has secured a videographer in the region who will be producing a video for the tourism group of Fort McMurray. And the hope is to have this, the plan is to have this video ready to go live in conjunction with the tourism.
Any further questions for Councillor Downey? Okay. There are no items from in camera to be made public, so I need a motion to go in camera under two items. 92B, the consideration of information received and held in confidence relating to negotiations between the municipality and the provincial government, or federal government, or both, or between provincial government or federal government, or both, and a third party. And also 91K, related discussions respecting the proposed provision of a municipal service that are in preliminary stages.
So moved.
Moved. Okay, seconder. Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Are there any questions from the public first? Okay, and any questions from the media? Nothing here. Okay, so motion then to adjourn and go in camera, please. Moved. Seconder, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. All right, Ryan, there was a link sent late for the in-camera portion, so it should be in your inbox.
We'll go check that right now. Thank you for the reminder.
Thanks. See you in a few minutes.